I'm not the type who scares easy. I've pulled more all-nighters in my university's main library than I can count. It's a huge 5-story concrete block built in the 70s, ugly on the outside, cold on the inside, and always just a little too quiet. Perfect for cranking out a research paper. This happened last fall, during finals week. It was around 1:30 a.m., the hour when everyone either gives up and goes home or slips into that dead-eyed academic trance. I was on the 4th floor, a floor most students avoid because of how dim and echo-heavy it is. The lights up there hum like they're struggling to stay alive. I had been sitting for hours, so I got up to stretch. That's when I noticed something strange across the aisle. One of the tall wooden bookshelves wasn't flush against the wall. There was about a 3-inch gap behind it. I'd never seen furniture out of alignment in that library. They kept everything rigidly organized. At first I thought maybe someone had pushed it while trying to reach a high book. But then I saw something glinting inside the gap. A small brass handle. Curiosity beat common sense. I squeezed behind the shelf. Dust choked the air. When I pulled the brass handle, a narrow panel swung open with a soft click. Behind it was a dark space, just big enough for a person to crawl into. My phone light cut through the darkness, revealing concrete walls, a few scattered receipts from the 80s, and something carved deeply into the far wall. Listen closely, do not answer. A chill stabbed down my spine. Before I could process it, I heard something behind me, like someone whispering my name. I spun around, but the aisle was empty. When I climbed back out, everything looked normal again. Except the shelf wasn't misaligned anymore. It had shifted back against the wall. I tried telling the librarian on the night shift, but she just smiled politely and reminded me that lack of sleep messes with perception. I knew what I saw. I knew what I heard. I tried to let it go, but the weirdness escalated. Every time I went back to my desk, something would be slightly different. My notebook turned a page. My pen lying at a new angle. My water bottle cap twisted halfway open. I told myself someone must have walked by and brushed the table. But deep down, I didn't buy it. Around 2:15 a.m., I started hearing whispers again. Faint, too faint to decipher. They seemed to come from between the stacks, not from one direction, but all around, like the building itself was breathing words. I told myself it was the HVAC system, stress, fatigue, anything but something real. But then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. No message, just a missed call. Then another buzz. This time a voicemail. I put the phone to my ear. Static. Then my own voice whispering, "Don't answer." I froze. My blood turned to ice. I hadn't spoken those words. I tried calling campus security, but the call wouldn't go through. Tried texting a friend. Message failed. My signal wasn't dead. Everything just refused to send. Psychological isolation hits harder than physical. When everyone thinks you're overworked and imagining things, you start questioning your own reality. But the night wasn't done with me. Around 3 a.m., I heard soft footsteps approaching. Slow, measured. I peeked down the corridor between the shelves. A figure stood completely still at the far end. Too tall, too thin. Its head tilted slightly like it was studying me. But the lighting was so poor that all I could see was a taller than normal silhouette and something else. Its shadow stretched toward me, unnaturally long, as if pulled by something that wasn't the overhead lights. I whispered, "Hello?" The figure tilted its head the other way, then stepped toward me. I bolted. I sprinted down the aisle, past the row of ancient encyclopedias, down the staircase, skipping 3 steps at a time. The building seemed to warp around me, corners stretching longer than they should, stairwell lights flickering as if something invisible was chasing me floor to floor. When I reached the first floor, the automatic front doors refused to open. I slammed the crash bar again and again. Behind me, soft footsteps. Getting closer. I turned, but no one was there. And then, my phone buzzed again, same unknown number. I didn't pick up, but the phone answered itself. This time the voice was clearer. Mine again, except distorted, like it was recorded inside my skull. "You shouldn't have opened it." I dropped the phone. It didn't break, it just kept playing that whisper on the floor. I backed away from it, shaking, and suddenly the front doors clicked. They opened on their own. I ran out into the freezing night, straight across the courtyard. not stopping until I reached my dorm. I didn't tell anyone. I knew they wouldn't believe a word of it. The next day I went back to return a book, heart pounding the whole walk there. I checked the fourth floor. The shelf was perfectly aligned, no gap, no handle, like it had never existed. But as I was leaving, the night shift librarian, same woman from before, pulled me aside. "You didn't answer it, did you?" she whispered. I stared at her. "What are you talking about?" She shook her head. "Good, just next time you hear whispers, leave immediately. That building has echoes from before it was a library." Before I could ask what that meant, she turned and walked away, refusing to say anything else. I transferred to a different study space for the rest of the semester, but the calls didn't stop. I still get them sometimes, late at night, always from that same unknown number, always silent. Except once. Last week I got a voicemail. My voice again. It knows you remember. If you're enjoying these true horror stories, make sure to subscribe to Ultra Spooky and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we upload new nightmares. This was just one of many terrifying true stories from the Ultra Spooky archives. Stay tuned for our next tale of horror.